Greetings all, Bill Vencil here from Chords of Orion. In this video, see how you can take a convolution reverb, combine it with just about any piece of audio, and use it to create an awesome ambient soundscape. All right, Convolution Reverb. What is it? It's a plugin that allows you to use a piece of audio that captures a reverb signal. Typically, that's going to be a sharp sound in a hall or room, loaded into the plugin, and then the plugin can use it to model a reverb. It's actually pretty cool and can give you some fairly realistic reverb signals. So what would happen if you loaded in an unusual piece of audio? What would you get then? That's what I wanted to find out. I actually got this idea from a person that commented on one of my other YouTube videos. After his comment, I got to thinking, man, maybe I could use this to really create ambient soundscapes using kind of bizarre types of audio. So let's check it out. So the first thing I did was create some vocals. All right. I just recorded my voice twice. Now, I could have used a guitar, but in this case, it was just vocals and real simple, just a drone. Here we go. All right, pretty straightforward. And after I sang those two tracks, I bounced them down to a single piece of audio. Here it is. Basically just two voices, a perfect fifth apart, a pretty short piece of audio. Once I bounced that down, I decided I'm going to use that as my convolution impulse response audio. Impulse response, again, is the audio that you load into the plugin. So what I next needed was a piece of audio that I wanted to add reverb to. And again, in this example, I used my voice. I could have used a guitar or any other instrument. Let's take a quick listen to what I did. Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho. All right, pretty stupid, silly. I mean, nothing special, and I kind of sang out of tune. So let's consider some effects here for this track, and we'll get to the Space Designer. The first thing I did was add some pitch correction because, again, I sang pretty crappy on this thing. So here it is. Hey-oh! All right. So you're going to sing better than me, right? Promise me. Next thing I added was a stereo spread. I just really wanted to convert this mono signal into a fake stereo signal. That way when I apply reverb, I get a full, stereo reverb. The next deal is the Space Designer itself. Again, this is the Convolution Reverb with Logic Pro. If you've got Reaper or Pro Tools or something else, you'll have another Convolution Reverb. Space Designer allows you to load in audio. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on IR sample and click on load IR and go to the audio that I created. It's called IR bounce, and go ahead and open it up. All right. The next thing we can do in Space Designer, and I'm sure many other convolution reverbs, is set envelopes. So I can set a volume envelope, which you see I did here, kind of a rising lead in, and then a sharp decay. Filter envelope allows you to indicate the decay of the highs, so you can see the filter there. I could even reverse the impulse if I wish to do so. So pretty cool. All right, so I've got that set up. I also set this to half speed. So here's original speed, which is 16 seconds. I'm going to set it to half speed so I get a 33-second impulse. That's a long reverb tail. All right, so let's check it out, see what it sounds like. So what I'm going to do is bring up the dry signal, bring down the reverb, and I'm going to start this track again. And so we can hear it, and I'm going to bring up the reverb, bring down the dry. You're going to also see me bring up the overall volume of the track after I bring up the reverb and bring down the dry, just to give us a little more volume. So here we go. Let's check it out. Hey, oh. Reverb all the way up. Hey, oh. Hey, reverb on. Oh. Hey, oh. Hey, oh. All right, bring down the dry. Bring up the amplitude to 0 dB. All right, kind of sweet. Not very loud though, so let's add a couple of plugins to bring up the volume and add some EQ. So I'm going to pull this over here. I'm going to add a little limiting just to make sure I don't overload my channel. So I'm going to set the ceiling down to -2 dB. And then I'm going to add a compressor in. This is the out-of-the-box compressor with Logic. And I'll set the threshold here, negative, 20 or so. Add a little makeup gain, etc. Okay, so that's great. And then I'm going to add a little EQ to drop out some of the low end, because it's a little bass heavy. So let's check it out now. Isn't that cool? That's pretty sweet. I mean, gosh, you can take any piece of audio and turn it into an ambient soundscape using this convolution reverb. I really like that. I'm going to be using this in the months to come as I create new ambient soundscapes. Anyway, what I'd like to do with this also is offer you all this Logic Pro project. If you do Logic Pro, if you do use Logic Pro, sorry, I'll put this up so that you can download it, and I'll include the download link in the video notes below. And in the meantime, I will see you all on the next video.